Hi, I'm Steve Thompson, President and CEO of Emery Thompson Machine, and welcome to this week's Questions Answered. Last week I was away on assignment out to Chicago. I went to the National Restaurant Show to gather information. It seems I also gathered a healthy case of COVID. Thus, my associate, Christi Brown, is not with us right now. She will follow right after me. So, Christi, as soon as I finish, you'll be on. This is going to be a no-holds-barred discussion of the National Restaurant Show as it pertains to our industry, batch ice cream freezers. I haven't been to the show in 14 years. Prior to that, I did it for about 35 years straight. That's a long time to be doing a show. And Emery Thompson dropped out of it because we kept seeing the same old problem that the show is expensive for ma and pa businesses to come to. Chicago, like all major cities, is an expensive city, and getting around is difficult. And we just didn't see the value in it compared to doing all these videos and talking direct with our customers. Obviously, our method has worked correctly. Sales for Emery Thompson have been up every single year for the past 18 years. So, what did I see? My first stop was, as you'll see in the photo that Ken is attaching, nothing's really changed much. This is a line of people to get a piece of a hot dog. They're standing in line for about 15 minutes to get a little tiny piece of a hot dog. You know, free food is always going to be an attraction. My next stop was Ghirardelli chocolate. That's another photo here Ken's putting up. And if you have to ask why I stopped at Ghirardelli chocolate, then you've never had Ghirardelli chocolate. It is fantastic. So that was a must stop and see. From there, I started looking at the batch freezers that were there. Bravo is a company out of Italy that is famous for its pasta making machines. They also had, as you can see in the booth there, a very small booth, one lowly batch freezer. Some of the Taylor distributors are selling Bravo batch freezers, and the report back is that they are very expensive, way more than anybody else's, and very highly complex. I've heard some of the dealers aren't very satisfied because they have to keep making repeat calls to teach people how to run the machine. As far as I know, it's not sanctioned by Taylor. So the warranty comes from Bravo and the individual dealer, not Taylor Freezer out in Illinois. Speaking of Taylor, I couldn't find them. I looked everywhere. I looked online. I looked in the playbook. Just could not find them. I don't know what was going on. Probably my fault. I probably missed them. But no matter, because Taylor has been out of the batch freezer business for about 4 years now, maybe longer. They went to a company, when they stopped building batch freezers years ago, they went to an Italian company called Frigomat, and they sold machines in the 90s and early 2000s, but that deal fell apart, as did Gelato, and we'll talk about that later. So I didn't see much of anything exciting there. Let me go through my notes here. Sorry. The next one, that's a picture of my 2 golden retrievers sitting on the couch. I'm the one who's supposed to be getting well, and they took over the couch. On to Stolting. Stolting is a good company, an old American company. They make very good soft ice cream machines. They haven't been in batch freezers for a long time. I built their batch freezers for about a year, but they were more interested in soft serve machines, and their knowledge base is there instead of batch freezers. They do offer a unit called the Telme, T-E-L-M-E, which is a company out of Italy. It's a vertical freezer. The freezing cylinder is up and down instead of horizontal, like ours are. My grandfather invented the mechanized vertical batch freezer 118 years ago. The problem with vertical is Newton's law of gravity. When you put nuts and cookies and candies up top and you've got a machine that's vertical, the majority of your cookies and candies are going to be down in the bottom. So you have an uneven product. By taking that vertical and going horizontal, as we do, and as you can see in our machines, you get an even mix of everything. So Tell-Me is not a very large player in the market. Stolting, great company, I like them, is owned by a larger company called Volrath, and by the looks of the booth, how Stolting was just tucked in as an afterthought into the Volrath booth, it looked like the parent company is just not that interested in batch freezers at all. Let's see, on to Cappigiani and Electrofreeze. These were the two best-looking booths of the frozen dessert businesses. Cappigiani is a company from, I think they started about 1947. And Electrofreeze was earlier than that. They're both owned by the same parent, the Ali Group, and Cappigiani builds a nice machine. There's no question about it. And in the gelato world, it's an extremely well-selling machine. The problem is, it's gelato. Gelato, as I mentioned earlier, came in the late 1990s to American shores and was a big hit. Everybody was traveling to Italy, and everybody came back and said how wonderful the gelato was. The problem with that, and the reason I called it a fad instead of a trend, in the United States, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Africa, in the Arab states, is that gelato is more of an adult flavor. Things like tiramisu, fruit of Tabasco, pistachio. These are adult flavors, and they're good. There's nothing wrong with that. But the bulk of American ice cream is high-flavored, loaded with fun stuff. Cookies, candies, butterscotch, peanut butter. These are the things that Americans like. I always contend that you're very unlikely to see a 35-year-old mother walk into an ice cream parlor or a gelateria with her daughter, and her daughter is pulling on her dress saying, "Mommy, could I please have a tiramisu?" That's just not what we buy. We want the salted caramel. We want the mousse tracks, the mint chip, the fun flavors. So although it's a good machine, it doesn't make American ice cream. It's also more expensive than us by a long shot, thousands more, because they sell through dealers and we sell direct. We sell direct to you, the customer. That way we can give you the very best service. You're not talking to some low management person who is using the job as a stepping stone. You're talking to Christi or me or Mike or Slade or Paula or many of the other people in our office who are very knowledgeable about the batch freezer business. Electrofreeze, I built all their machines, all their batch freezer machines for 28 years prior to them being sold to Cappigiani and the Ali Group. So if you've got an Electrofreeze batch freezer, there's a very good chance it was made by us. If you see that the Electrofreeze and the Cappigiani look very similar, look at the doors, excuse me, it's because they are very similar and they're owned by the same parent. So not much difference there. But in Emery Thompson, you know what we look like. We're uniquely different. We invented the machine 118 years ago. And although the show was very interesting to see, I just didn't see that I really have much competition there. They're all doing basically gelato. We are American ice cream. I hope this helps. And now I'm going to turn it over to you, Christi. Take it away.
Well, thanks, Steve. Gotta sanitize it, yeah. I'm Christi Brown, Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and as you heard from Steve, we're doing things separately today, but that's okay. I got the girls. So my first question is can I use my CB350 on a generator for my food truck? Yes, you can. The generators work, our CB350s work very well with our generators, and as long as your generator is bigger than 4,400 watts, it'll be good to go. So it'll work just fine. CB350 is very popular in the trailer food trucks because it is space efficient, and it does need a little bit of clearance all around, about 1.5 feet of airspace, but it can be mounted, it could be up on a counter, whichever works best. My next one is how do I install the casters on my machine when it gets here? So the large 24 quart or 12 quart, when you get your machine, it arrives on a pallet. And the best way to get your casters onto your machine is to unbolt it from the pallet. Then you're going to shimmy your 24 quart or 12 quart just to the edge of the pallet, just enough to get the one side off. And you're going to see your casters that come in a little box that's sitting on top of the can stand. You're going to take the casters out of that, and then you're going to install the 2 casters on each side. And then after you've got those 2 on, you're going to just slightly tilt your machine so you can get the other 2 on, and then slide the pallet out. And you're ready to roll around your 24 quart wherever you need to get it to. And of course, there's always Mike, our technician. You can give him a call and chat with him and any questions or concerns that you have. And my last one is should I make milkshakes with soft serve ice cream or hard ice cream? I think it can go both ways. I prefer making it with hard ice cream for a couple of reasons. One, you already have all your flavors there. We all know soft serve, you have a limited of 2 to 3 flavors, vanilla, chocolate, and maybe a swirl. So with that said, if you try to make it with soft serve, then you're going to have an array of toppings if you're going to do Oreo or M&Ms or peanuts, whichever, because now you're going to have all those toppings and put it in there to make the milkshake. When you make it with hard ice cream, especially if you're making it with the Emery Thompson, you've already got all your flavors ready. So if they want a cookies and cream milkshake, you know you got cookies and cream ice cream right there. And then of course you can have some toppings on the side if you wish, but you don't have to have a whole array of massive toppings just to make your milkshakes. I feel like I was a little too fast on that. I don't have my partner in crime here to ramble on and go back and forth, but that's it for me today, and we will see you next week, and we'll be back together then. Bye, guys.